Hey, do you need wallpaper? Go to wallpaperboulevard.com. Give them my name, tell them Spencer Colgan sent you, and they'll be sure to give you 10% off at checkout. Check it out. Tell them I said hello. They have a tremendous selection. Don't shop anywhere else until you've checked out www.wallpaperboulevard.com. One of my YouTube, I'll call him a fan. I won't use his first name. Let's just call him Confused. He says, every time I see you hang over a window, you botch it. So I said, I don't like YouTube warriors. People who sit behind their computer, complain. So I decided that I was gonna make a video showing you how you can hang wallpaper around a window without using the rarely used technique that I have demonstrated on all of my videos, showing how to go around a window. I never thought that you would want to see it done successfully. Because why would you go to YouTube if you were successful about hanging around a window? It seems to me that if you were having trouble hanging around a window, then you would go and try to find the finest wallpaper installer to find out how to hang wallpaper around a window. But if you were successful at it, for example, I cut my grass pretty well. I've never gone to YouTube to find out how to do it better. Why would I do that? So I have a YouTube guy who doesn't like me. I suspect that it's envy. Now, jealousy is different. Jealousy is being solicitous for those things that pertain to yourself. So, let's say you have a beautiful wife. You don't want anybody looking at her. If somebody does, that could cause jealousy because that pertains to you. But envy is being unhappy at what pertains to me. And so I suspect the green-eyed monster of envy. We're going to go around this window. And we're going to do it successfully. And you're not going to watch it because if you're successful, you'll never see this video. Did I explain myself clearly? In other words, this guy says, you don't know what you're doing. Every time you hang around a window, you're showing us how to cut it and make it fit around the window. I can do this every time, he says. So my response is, sometimes the window is off square, and therefore I make a video when it doesn't fit around the window properly. So why would I say I hang wallpaper around windows three times a week. I never thought of making a video of when it's successful. It's a lot of work to take a video. So why would you look up how to hang wallpaper around a window when your installation is going well? He didn't seem to understand that. He must be from New Jersey. I like this wallpaper. This is what it is. A Street Prints. There you have all the information you need. Here's the wall. The determining factor on where to begin is dictated by the penetration of the window. The window's a penetration. It penetrates the wall. And because it's a penetration, we don't want our wallpaper ending here and having to put up a sliver here. And so we want to plan by making lines on the wall that will simulate where each panel falls, so that we don't have the end of a sheet falling here. This is a drop pattern. But if it were not a drop pattern, my first sheet would be determined by where I could end the top without cutting off a substantial part of the pattern. Cutting this bird off at the top would be substantial. It would be a faux pas in the wallpaper hangers world. Okay, so go through the trouble of putting this on a table to see where you drop. It will be affected by the trim at the top, so that you're not cutting off something substantial if you can help it. Well, I took advantage of the open space on the floor to show you that you have to capture 8 feet of wallpaper that displays the pattern to its maximum beauty. You don't want to cut off the bird. That wouldn't be displaying the pattern to its maximum beauty. But we do want to do due diligence. I open my ruler 8 feet long. Okay? And I can move it up and down, because this is my pattern. It's a drop. You see that? This piece up here above this, that's waste. The drop is that this sheet B, this is A, this is B. Panel B has to come down to meet panel A. The end result is that you don't have the same repeating pattern every 21 inches. People get tired of that. And so they invented what's called a drop pattern, so that this bird here is not here on this sheet. That would be a straight match. You'll see this bird drop down over here. That's the drop. So we have him here, then he appears here, then he's going to appear over there, etc., etc. So now you get the picture. Where would you cut off this pattern? I already see something I like. Do you see the top of the bird on the left panel? See his face right there? If you look across, I get the top of another bird on the B panel, and I'm not cutting off the head of any bird. I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that. We're going to cut off this bird's feet, but that's all right. Now, here's another consideration. Walls are usually not straight. When you determine what goes at the top of a pattern, be very careful that you don't go too close to this guy's beak. Because when the ceiling comes down an inch, you're going to be cutting off his head. You want to go a little further up. And then you tell the customer, if you wind up cutting off the bird's head, say, listen, I did the best I could. You'd be like a brain surgeon. You come out, you tell the family, we did the best we could. You know? So I'm inclined to go right up to the top of his legs. Okay? That's what I want to do. Now let's see where it ends. The bottom is not as important as the top, unless you're 2 feet tall, in which case you probably have a nipple in your mouth, or what they call a binky, and you can't talk anyway. Or you may be somebody who's challenged with respect to height. I had a sergeant in the NYPD. He was of low stature. Let me tell you something. I never knew what it meant to be someone of whom they said he must have been picked on all his life. This guy was 5'3". He laughed like this. And boy, he didn't like me. He didn't like me. And he was not a nice guy. He wasn't nice. And we concluded after watching him in action for several years that he had the Napoleon complex. Okay, well, getting back to the wallpaper. Now, he wouldn't like this because he was short. Getting back to the wallpaper. Now, where does 8 end? We want to know exactly where. All right, we got the feet up there. I see them. I see the end of my ruler. Now, where does 8 end? Look at that. Look at that. At 8 feet, I like it. I'm going with it, folks. I'm going with it. Okay? You understand? Does everybody understand what I just did? I simulated the installation by using the floor as the wall. And I put my 2 sheets together as if I were laying them out on the wall. And I determined that this is going to be the layout on the wall by taking into consideration the drop match. Also taking into consideration, because I'm a veteran paper hanger, contrary to what my critic is saying on YouTube, who takes into consideration large objects. When you have large objects like this, you don't want to be cutting them off. I'd love to do this in a wraparound where I have to do a fake out. I love the challenge here. Okay, guys, let's get this done. Now, just to be sure, I just trimmed off my excess. And the top is going to be somewhere around here, okay? I don't want that in there if I can help it. But you see what I mean by the drop match? The drop match brings this one into, I can't cut this guy out. So we gotta live with it. Now let's go down to the bottom and make sure that 8 feet is exactly where we want it. This guy don't know what he's doing. Okay, here's 8 feet. Let me cut it. Okay, 8 feet is right here. My cut is going to be somewhere, preferably right over his beak, but then obviously because, so we got this guy and we got this guy. They're different birds. He's gray, he's white. So we'll see how this plays out at the top, okay? I don't know the customer, but if I did, I'd say, ma'am, can you please tell me which way you want this hung, which way is up and down? I did that last week. Customer went like this. The birds' heads are up. This is how she looked in. I don't want to say. I was hysterical. Almost did it. Okay, let's bring you in closer. Me as well. Oh my goodness, I love the bottom so far. You really gotta see it. I love it, love it, love it. Let's see, together. Bosh. Get it, it's worth it. Do you see how I'm holding my finger? See what this does? The pinky? It tells my knife to slow down. If there's a wrinkle, a buckle that I'm going to mess up, I'm feeling with this. I'm also feeling for the ending of the trim so that I'm not surprised when it comes. Garbage. Okay, now, I don't like disappearing off the camera. Okay, this edge and that edge has to be in line. What do you think? He don't know what he's doing. You'll see. Now let's put the second sheet up right near it. Oh man. Dude, you are really good. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this. There's a guy on Instagram. I won't tell you that he's from South America. I don't want you guys knowing who he is. Real cocky dude. Real cocky. You know, everything. Just, I know cocky people. I'm from New York. Really cocky. Cocky meaning, you know, they're so good. Anyway, I watch his stuff because he's really good at what he does. And they suckered him into wearing Sherwin-Williams shirts and hats. Let me tell you something. If I'm good at something, I ain't promoting your business unless you pay me. Let me tell you something. If you're a paper hanger, let me just tell you something. If you're a paper hanger, you have rare skills. Don't Well, this guy doesn't hang paper, but he's really good at what he does. He's a painter. And I'm amused by his arrogance, because as he's sanding his walls and making them shine and look like marble, he's doing it promoting the products sold by Sherwin-Williams. And they probably take advantage of his expertise as they sell their products on his channel. And I'd love to talk to him, but he never responds to anything I write him. Like, dude, get your own logo. Stop promoting Sherwin-Williams in South America, man. Make $1 million. Stop making them rich. I got my A and B panels up. As I come around the window, I install my sheet beneath the window. Okay. And I'm disconnected from the sheet at the top because I have a window here. Now sometimes this window penetration throws off your pattern. And that's caused by the human error of not maintaining this edge with the one above it. Or if the window is not perfectly square, you're going to have a mismatch. Okay, now I'm going to put a laser to make sure that my wall covering up here, which is going to stretch more up there than down here. Can anybody tell me why? Why would that little piece up there be more inclined to stretch 1/8 of an inch, 3/16 of an inch than this? Because the one up there is less wallpaper. It's easier to stretch $1 than it is to stretch an 8.5 by 11 sheet of computer paper. It doesn't tear as quickly as this will. And therefore that sheet can throw you off. So you want to have a laser level handy, or a plumb bob, as they use in the UK. I do not like plumb bobs. You gotta wait till the thing stops moving? I think that's a joke. Give me a break. Are you kidding me? But the best wallpaper hangers in the UK use the plumb bob. It's just the way they were trained. So, you know, to each his own. I'm okay with it. Here's another human error. You see that little 1/16 of an inch there? If you perpetuate that error, that's a 1/16, that's a 1/16 equals 1/8, etc., etc. You get to the bottom, you got to buckle. Straighten it out now so that it is parallel. You see what I mean by this sheet can throw you off right here? Because it's small. You don't notice that this edge isn't plumb. And when you continue to hang the rest of these little strips, which are less than 4 inches in length, you're off on the other side. You got to be careful about this. Okay. As I approach the end of this obstacle, I'm not going to trim at the top and bottom my pieces that will now form the wraparound piece. I may have to move it up 1/8 or down 1/8. So you don't want to lock yourself in by cutting it until this piece is installed. You agree? Now there are some arrogant wallpaper hangers who say a lot of silly things. They're YouTube warriors. They sit behind their computer and they criticize everybody's work. Can you reasonably expect to have a matching pattern here when you come around this plantation shutter? Anybody? Anybody? What do you think? You're the paper hanger. You tell me. Be honest. Put your answer down at the bottom right now. Just be honest. Can I expect to have a matching pattern here? Meaning I attach this piece, wrap it around, bring it to this. Let me bring you in close. Yes or no? My plantation shutter is not touching my laser line, is it? Right here. Is it? No, it isn't. As I go up, is my plantation shutter touching my laser? Sure is. Wow. I can tell you right now, the pattern that touches this plantation shutter, as it repeats, is going to reveal lesser and lesser of the pattern from the bottom to the top, and more of the pattern, even if it's 1/4 of an inch, here. It will reveal more of the pattern here where it touches the plantation than it does here, simply because of the fact that if I keep my wallpaper straight and cut it according to this crooked plantation shutter, it will necessarily be off. So I address the critics, and there's only one, who know it all and have the answers to everything. So, if you're a paper hanger, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to the homeowner. Homeowners are good paper hangers, you know? They are. I'm talking to you. You can beat this. Don't lock that piece down, and don't lock that piece down like I did either. Don't do what I did. Leave it fluid, meaning get the flap at the bottom and at the top and don't cut it yet, because you may have to move it this way or that way. Okay, let's see. I just put my sheet around the window. Didn't do anything yet, let me show you. Just attached it here. Let me show you the result of this lack of square. Without unnecessarily stressing this piece here. See this? I'm going to trim this off to get rid of the tension that this is placing on this. And I'm going to try to keep my pattern intact without resorting to plan B, which is to cheat the wall by slicing this so that we can have our pattern. And this is precisely why you don't want to trim these pieces at the top here. Those pieces are a great way to hide the problem that this has created. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to hang it around our window and then deal with the pattern at the top. We can't, this is the major part of it right here. This is 3.5 feet. And so we're gonna leave that intact, come around and deal with any mismatches up here. So I might wanna move this piece a little up or a little like that to make it all match. Okay. Now, it will throw off our pattern perhaps at the top, where the particular parts of the bird touch the crown molding. You know, this gets tricky. It's off, and we have to do the best we can. And so I think what we want to do is be governed by a plumb line on the edge here. So our plantation is not plumb. So we will work to establish a plumb line. So that the rest of our sheets are plumb. Ah. Okay. So. You can't see what I'm doing. I want you to see this. I want you to see. Go with it. We know we're destined for a mismatch, but we're still going to try to avoid it with pulling, pushing, maneuvering, hiding. We know we're destined for a mismatch because I've demonstrated to you that we are not working off of a square adjoining piece because our window frame is off. So let me bring you up close. We have a straight line here. Okay, we're going to keep that because the next sheet we're going to maintain plumb. Now let's see the detriment that the lack of plumb has done to our pattern. Remember I said that the repeating birds will be cut off, right? So we have this guy here. We have him here again. And a different amount of his neck is showing here than it is here. And this bird, a different part of its bottom is showing here than it is here. But you see what we did? We didn't cut this because we wanted to manipulate it to our favor. You see what I mean? We can now move this up or down and make it all look like it matches. Okay? I can easily move this out, move this over, and have the rest of my sheets crooked. But we don't do that. Okay? You can see we're making it work. The only thing the end result may reveal is a different part of the bird at the top. Okay? We'll see though. I'm going to try to push and pull. You can obscure this and manipulate it to your favor. No one's going to see if this piece and this piece is different from those solid areas over there. And that's what we're trying to do here. Manipulate the solid areas. Now, you can see this piece is fine. Now, when we get to this piece, you can see how it's crooked and it's overlapped. But we're going to make it work. Watch this. Keeping in mind the amount of the leg showing over there, we want to try to keep that over here. Okay. And then we want to move this up. Going to keep this piece the same as that one. Okay. Let's hope for the best. Okay. This guy don't know what he's doing, I'm telling you. So we pushed our mismatch up this part here, over to here, move this a little this way, move this a little this way, and I don't get it. Every time you do a window, you gotta play tricks. Yeah, that's right. Oh my goodness, man. I wonder what my friend thinks now. If you just jumped into this part of the video, I didn't do this, by the way. Some sloppy plaster guy did it. I don't do stuff like that. In case you just jumped in, I had a YouTuber behind his computer tell me I didn't know what I was doing when it came to hanging paper around windows. I'm not gonna mention Andrew Blakely by name. That wouldn't be right. That would be wrong. You don't know what you're doing. Yes, I do. Now, my prediction about this being off will come true because we hid the variance here rather than lose our pattern at the top. I didn't want to give that up. Okay. And now, since we're all matched up, we're gonna cut the bottom. We left it just in case we had to move it up a little, or down a little, or over, whatever. What do you think? Can I get an oh yeah? Thank you. I tried to salvage this bird as much as I could. He appears here, here, and here. And you can see that more of his neck appears here. But you can't notice that, can you? If you can, you belong hanging wallpaper, because I notice it too. But most people can't. Shh. Was it my fault? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Remember I told you I was going to try to salvage those feet? Right? Didn't we work hard to salvage those feet? We did. We did. We did. And maintain continuity because the rest of the wallpaper is affected. The more you're off, the more it's affected. And that's how you hang wallpaper around a window that doesn't play nice. Take it all in. Take it all in. Not too bad. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to put up the next sheet and then the next one so you can see the whole thing. Okay. Thank you for waiting for this part of the video. As you know, from the beginning, this is a drop match. A drop match does not always allow symmetry from one side to the other when you're doing an accent wall. Straight match, you can always get symmetry. But on a drop match, the pattern against this wall and the pattern against this wall is very hard to have the same thing, because if you do it symmetrically, you're not going to wind up with the pattern, birds on the left and birds on the right. You would have to lay it out to see what looks the best. And so that is what we tried to do to achieve symmetry, in that the left side having birds and the right side not having the same birds on this side, but indeed, you would agree, birds, right? Instead of having it like end right there, or like on half of a bird. So at least we have a body of a bird over here on the left, as we do, on the right as we do on the left. Okay? Refer to my videos on symmetry when you're doing an accent wall. You can achieve symmetry always with a straight match, but for particular reasons you cannot achieve that on a drop match if you were to follow the rules for a straight match pattern. In order to achieve symmetry, the rules don't work when you have a drop match, and the video explains why. Now, for my YouTube warrior friend who says that I don't know what I'm doing, I challenge him. I don't care that he said I don't know what I'm doing. There's a lot of people on YouTube saying stupid things. I challenge him to make a video that clearly demonstrates a window that is not straight and come up with this perfection. I'm staying here so that you can take it all in. You can freeze that frame in front of you. Let me get this out of the way. Freeze that frame in front of you and examine this pattern. I think this table is in the way. Let's get this out of the way. Oh my goodness, it weighs a ton. I'm not moving it. I don't want to be scratching people's floors. But you can see around that window. Now that takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of experience. It takes a lot of understanding. It takes a lot of technique. It takes a lot of expertise. And in this video, I took my time to show you how to do it. And I hope that you benefit from it. If you like the video, please click on like. Please go to like and click on it and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.